Hello everyone, Deepak here, and this is an exclusive update for AlphaClub members. So I wanted to tell you what's going on with Pixel Track and AlphaClub because you might be hearing a lot of things, there might be a lot of assumptions, and in some cases there are some rumors also circulating, right? So you know that Giant has moved on and Giant has quit Pixel Track and he has joined Uability. So what is happening here? I just wanted to tell it to you right from the source so that there are no assumptions or anything like that. So first of all, me and Giant have a great work relationship. It is not something like we had a co-founder conflict or a fight or anything like that. We just eventually realized that considering we both are building our personal brands, being co-founders adds a lot of friction to the process. Working together for 2 years, we have greatly benefited from each other's expertise. And I am more of a high level strategy guy. He's more of an execution guy. And whatever we did in the past 2 years, the AlphaClub events, the Digital Freelancer Summit, and whatever we have achieved wouldn't have been possible unless both of us came together and worked on these things. But sometimes every relationship comes to an end, and it does not mean that it has to come to an end in a bad way. We just have very different approaches on how we approach work. We have very different goals on why we do business in the first place. We have a huge age difference, experience difference as well. I am just at a different stage of my life, and the reason for why I want to build a company and what I see in the long term is slightly different from the reason of what he is approaching at, right? So both approaches are good, but we felt like there was a lack of alignment in how we approached it. So eventually we figured out that work will be a lot less friction if we just moved on in our own ways. So now for you guys, you might be wondering where AlphaClub fits into this whole picture and how we are going to take forward AlphaClub, and what about the existing AlphaClub members? What do you get? So one of the things that I have always wanted to do was get into business coaching, but I don't want to do business coaching without parallelly doing business itself. Maybe having done business previously is still okay for a business coach to do the primary thing as a business coach. But business coaching is something that I want to keep it as secondary because I want to practice what I preach and preach what I practice. When I started Pixel Track in 2018, the approach was the same. I could have just kept launching digital marketing courses because I worked as a digital marketing manager in so many companies. And with that experience, I could have just done that. But I felt that digital marketing is such a dynamic field. And because things are always changing, I will not be forcing myself to learn new things unless I did digital marketing services. Otherwise, I will be doing digital marketing only to sell my digital marketing courses. And for me, that did not feel very authentic. That is why I invested heavily in hiring employees, and a lot of time and energy went into creating my own digital marketing agency. And in my digital marketing training, I think it has added a lot of credibility for my brand as Digital Deepak in the market, that, hey, this guy is not just teaching digital marketing, he's also doing digital marketing. So when I took some clients, initially we were just breaking even. In fact, we were breaking even for a very long time. And even though I did not make much profits from the agency, doing services and digital marketing services for businesses helped me understand the latest things, latest concepts, latest tools, results, how the market is shifting. And I was able to take in case studies and bring out fresh content to my digital marketing courses. So now slowly I am pivoting into the business coaching niche. Earlier we had internship program as the primary digital marketing training program. And then we kind of jumped into AlphaClub business coaching program directly. And I think there was a huge disconnect because I think 80% of the people who joined the internship program were students who wanted a digital marketing job, professionals who wanted to get a better digital marketing job, upgrade in their job, and mostly freelancers who wanted to learn digital marketing. That was the angle. Business owners also want to learn digital marketing, but business owners would rather just understand the high level concepts in digital marketing and hire a freelancer or an employee to do digital marketing for them, because in a business, you have team building, you have sales, you have finance, HR, venture capital funding, branding, vision, all that is included in business. And business owners do not generally go for the internship program. A good percentage of people in the Alpha Club have done the internship program and come into Alpha Club, but that's a very small percentage because we have trained more than 14,000 students in the internship program, and maybe around 60-70 people joined Alpha Club after they did the internship program. And rest of the people who joined Alpha Club were either on my email list or we ran some ads and we got people in. So I felt there was a disconnect. So this is how it's going to go forward. You guys know that I have incorporated this new company called Micro Startup. And what is the idea behind Micro Startup? So first of all, the definition of Micro Startup means that it is different from a traditional startup in the sense traditional startups try to raise a seed round and then try to raise Series A, Series B. Most of the startups that I have also worked in, and generally what startups expect is that you keep running in losses for a long time. Then the valuation grows. As the sales, revenue and valuation grows, you raise more and more funding. And eventually the founder makes money from an exit or by selling their own shares, or they wait to go public. In most of these cases, these startups do not see the light of the day. Even very big startups like Byju's and Unacademy are at a very, very doubtful stage right now because they just became too big, too fast, and it was not a sustainable growth. And when market situations change, there is a boom period and then there is a bust period. During the bust period, the valuation of the company shrinks. They start firing people. It is very stressful to be a CEO like that. Here you are either trying to become a $100 million or $1 billion CEO, or you end up shutting down the company. So this is how the startup environment has been around in India. When I say micro startup, I'm trying to own this term micro startup. And what do I define by micro startup? A small startup, somewhere around $500,000 to $1 million a year in revenue. You can say in Indian INR 5 crores to 10 crores a year in revenue. Profitable, sustainable, small team, primarily run by a single solo founder. And the solo founder owns majority of the equity. And maybe there are a few people who own some equity, but here profit share is more important than the equity, because unless you are raising funds and raising multiple rounds of funding and going to the public markets, stock options do not really make sense. Maybe you can give 1%, 2% to an employee just for them to have a feeling of ownership, but profit share makes a lot more sense in such a case. And keep the team size small. Probably 10 people is ideal, maximum 30 people, because if you grow beyond 30 people, then you have hierarchies, politics, and people don't know other people very closely. But 30 people is just like, you have heard of Super 30. There is a movie called Super 30. In a lot of international schools, the class size will be just 30 people, because 30 is like a magic number where you know each other very well, and you get a lot of things done in a very efficient way. Do not take a corporate office, take like a small office or even a home office. Just take like a 4 BHK or a 5 BHK penthouse and just work out of there. So this is what I define as micro startup. And the founder takes majority of the profits home, builds personal wealth, has a good quality of life, good work-life balance. And you should be able to pull this off by working maybe 4 hours of productive time every day consistently after a few years of setting up the initial things. So my goal about micro startup is that I just don't want to teach people how to build a micro startup. I want to also be building my own micro startups on the side. So when I say micro startup, I have 4 categories in it. So you have education. So a lot of people are becoming coaches, building education companies. You have services, which is the agency model. Then you have software, which is the micro SaaS, which is going to become a very big thing. Just like we have content creators, we will have a lot of software creators as AI is making software easier and easier to build. And then you can have platforms. So I will be building all those things parallelly. And a lot of people say that, hey, if you want to build a business, just focus on one thing. Don't focus on multiple things. It's a recipe for disaster. But I enjoy doing multiple things. It gives me tremendous amount of experience. And a lot of people have started this concept of having a personal holding company, where there is a software company, there is a services company. Some companies they sell, some companies they acquire majority stake in. So they call it the mini Berkshire Hathaway. I got this idea and clarity from this guy called Greg Eisenberg, who runs his own personal holding company called Late Checkout Studio. And it is like a mini Berkshire Hathaway. And what they do is that they do multiple things. They have an SEO company called Boring Marketing. They have a design company called Design Scientist. Some AI company. There is something called Community Empire, which is more into education and content. There is a brand consulting company, and they have a fund as well. So when you look at the fund, they have minority investments in a lot of companies. And when you look at the other companies that they own, Boring Marketing is a SEO agency, which is generating around $1.5 million a year in revenue. And there is a big team working on it. There is a co-founder for Boring Marketing who does sales for all the new leads that comes in. He is in US, and there is an execution team here in India. My previous co-founder, Sanjay Shenoy, who is mostly into SEO, is doing the execution in India with a team of some 30-40 people right now for Boring Marketing. And here you can see this is Design Scientist, pretty well designed page I would say. And it's a design agency, and there is this AI company. And if you go and search for personal holding company on YouTube, there are a lot of people who are talking about this idea of a personal holding company. Greg Eisenberg calls it multipreneurship, that you have multiple ideas, but everything is under a single personal brand. So if I am talking about businesses and digital marketing, startups and digital marketing, then the personal brand that I build, I can get clients who will have multiple requirements. And I can push the clients to an SEO agency, to a performance marketing agency, to an email marketing agency. And the distribution is taken care of through the personal brand of the person. And in my case, the personal brand is Digital Deepak itself, which will help me get clients for multiple services companies, not just one service company. So when you look at where is AlphaClub going to fit inside micro startup, let's say in education, there are going to be two major categories. One is digital marketing and one is startups. So both are different kind of customer avatars, and each customer avatar will have a different funnel. So for digital marketing, the top of the funnel entry gate. So recently I published an article called The Nightclub Business Model, which is the ideal business model for coaches. When you look at this particular niche, the entry gate is the 100-day digital marketing course. And 100-day digital marketing course is on learndigitalmarketing.com. So on learndigitalmarketing.com, we drive traffic via Facebook ads, Google ads, and organic. Then people will come to Digital Marketing Club. So Digital Marketing Club will be probably 499 rupees. It will have a community. It will have some free resources like tools and stuff, maybe ebooks, and it will have a newsletter. So people just join it to experience a little bit of the brand. And then we will have micro internship program, which has trained more than 14,000 students till date, has a great product market fit. And then people will go into Mastery Club, where in micro internship, you have 10 different topics, each is covered in one week. In Mastery Club, you will have an in-depth course for each and every topic, like Facebook ads mastery, Google ads mastery, SEO mastery. Now, the customer avatar for digital marketing category is going to be students who want a job or internship, people who want to upgrade their job, become a better digital marketer. They are already into digital marketing. They want to learn a particular subject in depth, or people want to become freelancers. It's more like a technical education. You can think of like B or BTech. People do an undergrad, but a lot of people, instead of going for ME or MTech, they will go for MBA. So there will be a lot of people from this funnel who would want to come into the startup funnel, but a lot of people would want to enter the startup funnel directly, which means that this needs its own top of the funnel. So here the top of the funnel will be a 30-day micro startup course on email. Then I have this thing called micro startup inner circle. So this is the tripwire. This is the walled garden, which I talked about in my blog post. So in micro startup inner circle, they will have a community. They will have the micro startup playbook, which is a printed book that will be shipped to their home. It will have a paid newsletter, ideally something like 100 micro startup ideas. And then it will have a weekly webinar, not a weekly mastermind call like we have in AlphaClub, but it will have a weekly webinar just to engage people so that people can see me in person. Can see me live, can hear me, and have a better stickiness to my personal brand. So this is where the brand is built, and this micro startup inner circle will be probably priced at 999 rupees. So I wouldn't call it a low ticket product. It is more like a tripwire. And then we will have AlphaClub. And then we will have Masters Guild. So Masters Guild is something that I will probably restart much later. AlphaClub is the idea for 2025. Let's call it AlphaClub 2.0 because you are already part of AlphaClub. So until now in AlphaClub, we did not have a foundational course. Like in the internship program, we had like almost 30 hours of content created for anyone who wants to learn digital marketing from scratch. In AlphaClub until now, the system was a little bit more chaotic. You guys booked one-to-one calls with me and Jayant. You had an account manager. The course structure was not like a very clear course structure. So inside AlphaClub, we will have this program called Startup Launchpad. And Startup Launchpad will be a 12-week program. And it will cover everything that I talk about when it comes to building a micro startup. So when people join AlphaClub, they will get this entire course, which will be the foundational course. From there only everything will be built. So this is mostly for people who are just getting started. But if people are already making, let's say 10 lakh a month in revenue, they might not need to go through the entire 12-week program. They might need to just check out certain videos or certain modules in the program. So here in the 12-week program, obviously we will have niche selection because that's where everything starts. Then we will have marketing related module. I have still not created the complete outline yet. I will let you know what will be the 12-week outline, but these are some of the main things that will be covered. We will have an entire module about courses. I will call it micro courses. Then we will have an entire module about building a micro agency. Then it will be micro products, which will be SaaS products, right? SaaS and digital products. How do you build a micro product? Then we will have a module on funding. If at all somebody wants to raise funding, even though I do not recommend people raise seed rounds and all that for micro startup, you can still sell maybe like 5% of the company to get the valuation in and get some operating capital going on. Then we will have about team building, because team building is very important. We have never created a module for team building yet, right? And I have built micro teams for a long time, since 2017. So we will call it micro teams. How do you build a small powerful team, and how do you create process and systems? We will have a module about systems and processes. So we'll just call it hiring, micro hiring, like, I don't need to have the word micro everywhere. So all this will be there, and in funding, it will be debt-based venture funding, equity-based funding. So all that we will cover, and I have acquired a lot of knowledge about these topics which I have not spoken about yet. So this will be the Startup Launchpad course as a foundational course. It will obviously have the community, which has turned out to be the most valuable part of AlphaClub. We will have weekly mastermind calls, and then we can have coaching calls. We can have additional courses. Like for example, in Startup Launchpad, we will talk about agency, courses, products, marketing in one week. Then we can have in-depth courses on each of these topics. So it will all be part of AlphaClub bundle. So just like here, we have individual courses for each digital marketing topic, and it is all part of Mastery Club. Here you will have additional courses which will be part of the AlphaClub itself. That might take some time to build, but I will build it. And then you will have the events, offline events. So offline events is going to be very important. We will have 2 offline events per year included in the cost of the membership. These events will be more like probably held in Bangalore because it will be 100-150 people eventually. In Masters Guild, I might create 2 retreats a year. So retreats will be more like, a very personal setting, and I might launch this in 2026. It will have a maximum cap of 30 people, and it might have some bundled services with it, right? So I had a little bit of testing out with Masters Guild a little bit. We had a few members join Masters Guild, and then I realized that maybe we are not at a stage to launch Masters Guild until we set up AlphaClub to stand on its own legs. So AlphaClub 2.0 I am planning to launch by January of 2025 once the Startup Launchpad course is fully completed. And since you are already part of AlphaClub, you don't need to rejoin AlphaClub with the entire fresh amount. You will still get the Startup Launchpad course. Startup Launchpad course is going to be a self-serve recorded course. You will continue to have the community as an alumni of AlphaClub. And the pricing that I have in mind for AlphaClub is 2.5 lakh plus GST for 1 year membership, 1.5 lakh plus GST for 6 months membership. In 1 year membership, there will be 2 offline events included. In the 6 months membership, we will have 1 offline event included. But we might have some people who come and say that, hey, even this is too much for me. I cannot really join for 1.5 lakhs also. I'm still at a very early stage. I'm just starting out. We might downsell just the Startup Launchpad for around 80,000 rupees. So that Startup Launchpad course will only be a course. We'll only have Q&A sessions until they complete the course only for 3 months. So Startup Launchpad will be like a 12-week program, which is a 3 months program. So if Startup Launchpad is bought individually, then the price of it will be 80K plus GST, or we might even make it like 1 lakh plus GST because ideally we want to get people to get at least a 6 months membership. And this is only for the first year is what I am thinking. Because Startup Launchpad comes in the first year and most of the value is extracted in the first year itself. If people charge 2.5 lakh for the second year of renewal and ongoing renewals, people might not really want to keep renewing at that price because it will not have Startup Launchpad, and the value extraction that happens in the first year will not happen in the second year. So for second year renewal, people will mostly want the offline event access, and they might want the community aspect of it to keep going on, and weekly mastermind calls. So renewal will be priced at 1 lakh per year, and weekly mastermind calls plus maybe some additional coaching calls on specific subjects. I'm not sure if I need to add an account manager for each and every client that joins AlphaClub. Maybe we'll have an account manager in Masters Guild, but account managers who do one-on-one calls, first of all, are not experts in their own field. So a coaching call maybe 2 to 3 times a week makes much more sense, but we will figure out, and you will help me figure out, right? Because you guys are AlphaClub alumni. So what I will do is that I will keep doing the renewal at 1 lakh per year. But for old AlphaClub members, 1 year renewal will be at only 50K. That is only for the AlphaClub alumni and only for the people who are watching this inside the AlphaClub. So this is my way to give back to the community, and you guys helped us build the AlphaClub brand. We have great members in the community and everything. So for other members, we will charge 1 lakh per year or 50K for 6 months. Anything less than that, it is not feasible for new members because I won't even make any profit there. Here I won't make any profit, but for existing members, 50K we will offer the renewal packages. And AlphaClub will start having activity again. We will start doing the weekly mastermind calls again. We will start the coaching calls and the events all over again. So you see whether it is valuable. This post is obviously not to pitch you the renewal. You guys are going to be the OGs Alpha Club OGs anyway. And everything is going to be focused on Alpha Club for this startup funnel. And this is where I feel the highest revenue opportunity is. And all the revenue that I make in this funnel, I'm going to reinvest into the top of the funnel to keep expanding my personal brand, which will lead me to getting clients for my services. And that's the overall idea on how these things are going to evolve. So if you look at services, right now, Deep Marketing will be the agency, where in Deep Marketing, we will do landing pages, drip marketing, and email newsletters. So this is the primary thing that we will do in Deep Marketing. We will create the Deep Marketing funnel or the framework for people. And this will be more like a one-time charge that we charge for people. Then we will probably be adding Pixel Track as a performance marketing agency. And then we might be adding a sales agency as well. Then we can add a social media agency. Then we can have a SEO agency. And the idea is that UI UX agency, right? We can have a web design agency only for web design. We can have what else? Content marketing agency. For example, YouTube videos editing, all that content marketing can be a separate agency. We can have a video agency as well. So I will be the CEO of Deep Marketing primarily, and I will be only focusing on this because this is my area of expertise. This is how I have built my entire business, entire brand until now. But we will have a separate CEO for Pixel Track, separate CEO for sales agency, separate CEO for social media agency. And if I am referring a client who has taken Deep Marketing services and that client goes to the performance marketing agency, I will charge maybe 10 to 20% of every invoice that comes to the Pixel Track company, which is incubated under Micro Startup itself. So Micro Startup becomes like acquisition.com, right? We have multiple agencies inside a single brand. So the invoices that we raise will be like, under the Micro Startup Venture Studio Private Limited only. But whoever is the CEO of this particular agency, they have complete control on the cash flow of that particular agency. And what I'm expecting is that people who are members of Alpha Club and members of Masters Guild, we might be able to absorb you into Micro Startup. We cannot have multiple SEO agencies, but we will have one SEO agency for which one Alpha Club member can become the CEO. And because I will be constantly focusing on building my personal brand, this will be there, but not so much. Digital marketing and startups are so interrelated, but this will be my area of focus in terms of personal branding. So here we will also be having our top of the funnel branding activities, right? So this will include my blog, YouTube channel, podcasts, talks, events, guest speaking. So everything is going to help people just know that I exist and helps in branding. Then people come into the opt-in, which is the 30-day micro startup course. Then people come into the tripwire. Then they are pushed directly into Alpha Club with a downsell, which is coming back to Startup Launchpad. Tomorrow I could create multiple top of the funnels as well. So instead of having a 30-day micro startup course, I could also have a 30-day team building course, right? So every topic that we have inside Startup Launchpad, so all these topics, each and every topic can become its own lead magnet. So that way we have a very broad top of the funnel with multiple entry points. And that is the same thing that I discussed in the nightclub business model blog post as well. So by looking at how I am building these businesses, you can also learn how to do it and how to structure your own business. And if I just do this, see, I could just focus on this and do nothing else, but it will be a little bit of hypocrisy that my only startup is a startup coaching program where I am making money by teaching people how to build a startup, and that is my startup. So I am taking a very broad niche. But then I will tell people that you also don't teach other people how to build startups. You build a startup in something else. I want to show people that, hey, this is how you build an agency. This is how you do training. And this might actually slow me down. If I just do this, I might be able to get to 1 crore a month very fast. but I want a long-term sustainable business which is much more authentic and I enjoy doing. And I feel that over a long period of time, the startup education will become so strong because all the business experience that we gain from building these agencies, I will be able to put back into my own education funnel of teaching people how to build startups. We will also build software SaaS products. I will revive this company called optinchat.com. So OptinChat has made $100,000 in revenue so far. So if I go to optinchat.com, you can see this is a tool that I built in partnership with a tech guy. And this particular tool, what it basically does is that it kind of gives you a pop-up. So I need to clear the cookies here to get the pop-up. So let's see if I can delete my cookies. So these 2 cookies I will delete, probably delete all the other cookies as well. And I will reload. So here you can see there is a pop-up coming. So this is a tool that I developed. It was my idea, my distribution, my marketing, and a tech guy developed this tool in partnership with me. And basically what it does is that instead of showing a pop-up on your website to collect name and email ID, it collects name, email ID, phone number, website, or anything that else you want to collect in a very conversational format. So this is a chat bot. There is no live person sitting and chatting behind, but it looks like a live chat, and the conversion ratio of visitors to actual opt-ins has been around 8 to 10%, which is much more than 4 to 5% that you get with the pop-ups which appear on the top of the site. So here we did only lifetime licenses. We did not market it properly. We kind of got distracted and everything. But if I get 100 customers at $50 per month and I do outreach to well-established bloggers who will use OptinChat, then that would be $5,000 a month in revenue. So unless I again do something like it, then I cannot teach people how to build a micro SaaS. So here inside Startup Launchpad, when we are teaching people how to go ahead and build micro products, micro SaaS products or micro SaaS, then I can only teach it, or I want to only teach it when I have my own micro SaaS. I cannot teach about micro SaaS without even having my own micro SaaS, right? You have to practice what you preach. I mean, if Virat Kohli has a coach, that coach was also a cricketer at some point so that he can coach about cricket to Virat Kohli, right? So that is very important. And it's also important that it is concurrently running, because maybe once upon a time I did something, maybe what if it is not viable right now? So to prove people that yes, it is possible right now as well, we will be focusing on building some micro SaaS. Then we are also planning to build a landing page tool. We are planning to build a pipeline or CRM tool. And all this will happen once I have good cash flow coming from services and education, and I can hire developers and start investing in developing all this while I remain the distribution engine, the content creator. So different content creators make money with different ways. For example, people who talk about politics, they have millions of subscribers. They talk about politics, and some people talk about like generic stuff. They interview random people. They have millions of subscribers. How do they monetize their channel? They monetize their channel through sponsors. They don't have a funnel. So I'm also a creator in the digital marketing and startup space. And I'm going to monetize my creation by getting B2B clients for my services and software companies. And let's not even talk about platforms right now. This is probably 5 to 10 years later. I would want to build multi-sided platforms. It's a very in-depth thing in itself. And anyone who wants to build their own startup should be having a combination of education, services, and software. Even if they are not building an education funnel and selling premium education products, even in that case, people still need to build their personal brand. So if you are building your personal brand, posting something on LinkedIn, posting something on a blog, having a newsletter, that's what will build a distribution. And that is part of education, right? You might not need to do revenue with education. You can just focus on services, maybe just focus on SaaS. You might not need to do services, but you need to educate people. You need to have a personal brand, and you need to bring in people through that. And this entire idea of micro startup will be kind of completely revolving around a personal brand. And without a personal brand, there is no micro startup. Micro startup, by definition, the marketing engine for the micro startup is going to be a personal brand. So I feel that taking this route may be a slower route, and I don't mind continuing to build this for the next 1, 2, 3, or even 4 decades, right? I'm 37 right now, 47, 57, 67, 77, right? I can even do this until I'm 77 years of age. Look at Ratan Tata, look at any entrepreneur who has really came into the limelight. It's through decades of compounding, not years of compounding. People who just think about today, they are like daily wage workers. They are only able to think about today. Sometimes they do it as a choice. Sometimes that is only thing that they can do. They cannot take like a long-term time horizon. They need to feed their family. People who acquire skills through college education and spending time for self-learning, they think in monthly cycles, monthly salary, monthly client retainers and everything. If you are thinking a little bit more broader, if you want to make even more money, entrepreneurs always think in yearly terms. And if you want to really become like a solid entrepreneur who builds something really significant, want to like put a dent in the universe, then you have to think in decades. Like I heard that before Apple launched iPhone, the iPhone was a concept for almost 7 years before they took it to the market. Why 7 years or almost 10 years, right? Because that's when you can get it really right. I don't know of any other way of doing business. This is what I like doing. Even if people criticize that, hey, you are just running behind shiny objects, you have a shiny object syndrome, you can't focus on one thing. I do have conviction in my own approach, and you will see how this evolves over a period of time. In case it does not evolve, and let's say 10 years later, we are still struggling to just pay the bills and pay the salaries with a small team, then you would at least know that, hey, this is not working. See, I told you so. So either way, it looks like this is picking up, this whole concept of multipreneurship. This Greg Eisenberg also seems to be a domain bug like me. So he has bought this domain called multipreneurship, and he's also talking about the same thing, like, build your holding company and use your personal brand to create the distribution. So you are basically diversifying your risk. It is aligned as a creator. As I said, it's built around a personal brand. It is built around a community. Like for example, all these agencies will be coming to life only when the AlphaClub community steps forward and says that, hey, I will become the CEO of this. I will become the CEO of this. Let's partner. Maybe in the future, all these service agencies might not be under MicroStartup as a single company. Let's say, for example, we have a UI UX agency, and this agency starts making $500,000 a year in revenue. This can be incorporated as a separate company where MicroStartup owns the majority stake because it was incubated inside MicroStartup, and the minority stake is held by the CEO or the co-founder of UI UX agency. So I'm not saying that I will be an expert performance marketer, I will be the expert UI UX designer, I will be the expert social media guy. No, I will bring in experts and they will become the CEOs. They will run it like their own company. They will be intrapreneurs, right? The most important thing is cross-pollination. I get a client for deep marketing. They also need performance marketing. They also need social media. They also need newsletters. They also need UI UX. So don't rely on VC firms. Run a profitable business and control your destiny. Profitable, prioritize EBITDA, not selling a preferred stock. So EBITDA, right? So earnings before taxes, depreciation, amortization. And you end up learning a lot by doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. You will end up having a lot of personal growth. As he says, juggling ventures is tough, but it pushes your limits. It's not just financial growth, but personal evolution. So can I handle multiple things? Can I write a letter to a CEO of a company which is under MicroStartup like just once in a year, right? And you can be anywhere in the world. You can work from home and everything. I like the design of this website as well. I think this is another education thing that he is doing. So he calls it multipreneurship. I call it MicroStartup. But it seems to be aligning to some other people also in the world who are approaching things in the same way. And these things were as concepts in my mind for a long time. And when I saw Greg Eisenberg, when I saw multipreneurship, when I saw late checkout, it kind of became clear to me that yes, there are other people thinking along these same lines, and maybe I'm not delusional thinking that I can do multiple things at the same time, right? So I have made this video exclusively for AlphaClub members because you are the cream de la cream of my entire community. I would like to have your feedback on this entire thing as well. and onwards and upwards. Let's connect again, and let's restart having conversations. Let's restart these one-on-ones and mastermind calls. I will first start with having a one-on-one call with all the Alpha Club members. Give me some time, and I will get started going with it, and then we will take it forward. So that's that, guys. See you on the other side. Bye bye.